And again, I want to show you a couple things of why I think it's a bottom. So we're going to turn over to the charts here. And what you can see here is that we had this collapse from about 40,000 down to about 26 or so, 25 and 26. That moved down to 14,000. It's about $14,000 was replicated perfectly with a measured move down to about 17,500. So that's a measured move. That gives you a good basis for a low.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Daily Crypto. Today we have Gareth Soloway as he speaks on his next key price target, both the Bitcoin upside price target and Bitcoin downside price target. The recent crashes in the cryptocurrency market have made many wait on potential results of its future price value. Bitcoin pricing remains in the red, attempting to avoid falling below the critical $20,000 support level. In the previous 24 hours, Bitcoin last traded between 20,400 and 21,240. In the past days, the coin has lost more than 29% of its value. However, Gareth Soloway gave a Bitcoin price level forecast of how a $20,000 Bitcoin price could fall down to $12,000 in a couple months' time. Bitcoin's price broke above $19,000 on Saturday morning and Ethereum fell below $1,000, expanding the brutal crypto bear market to new lows. The top 10 cryptocurrencies, as well as the majority of altcoins, have all jumped on the bandwagon and are now trading in the red. Do comment down below for your involvement. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoy the content we do here on this channel. With no further ado, let's head straight at Gareth Soloway's Bitcoin price prediction.
And I think that's what we have here on Bitcoin. And again, I want to show you a couple things of why I think it's a bottom. So we're going to turn over to the charts here. And what you can see here is that we had this collapse from about 40,000 down to about 26 or so, 25 and 26. That moved down to 14,000. It's about $14,000 was replicated perfectly with a measured move down to about 17,500. So that's a measured move. That gives you a good basis for a low. In addition, if we take a look, we know that the January or the December 2017 high, that was a major level. We have now recaptured it after just piercing it briefly. So we know that support. And then even one more little tidbit of great technical analysis is that if you take the low from March of 2020, which is the low from COVID, which was the lowest point going back to quite a while on Bitcoin, it was around $4,000. And if you connect it to this recent low and you drag a parallel line up, you get the two highs from last April as well as November. So there's a confluence of technical supports right here that signal to me at least we have a bounce here probably to 25 to 30,000.
Cryptocurrencies are going through a spectacular crash, and Gareth Soloway says the Federal Reserve is responsible for this downturn. As opposed to many claims that high inflation, increasing interest rates, and the Ukraine crisis, COVID-19 lockdowns, and supply chain turmoil are the reason for the spectacular crash, Gareth Soloway holds them secondary. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 75 basis points this week, the highest rise since 1994. All assets were withdrawn as a result of the adjustment. The S&P 500 is likewise in a bear market, having its worst week since 2020. Markets have been pounding crypto portfolios in recent months, with once celebrated DeFi ventures laying off employees and restricting withdrawals as crypto values plummet from last year's all-time highs. Investors may be wondering what caused such a dramatic shift in market attitude toward digital assets. Let's hear what Gareth Soloway has to say.
The next target is 12,000, but I think it's important to recognize that it's very possible we go below 10,000. All right. One thing I've learned in my trading career of stocks and commodities and now crypto is that assets go much further to the upside than anyone thinks and much further to the downside. I would say that you would prefer not to see the lows from 2018 and 19 taken out, which were around 3,500. Aside from that, this new unprecedented environment for crypto, because of the Fed and what they're doing, and they're pulling out money and sucking it out of the system, you have to expect that it could be a very rocky ride. So just to give you a sense of how I'm playing this, I started a hodl position at 19,000, just a small amount. I basically said to myself, what do I want to invest in Bitcoin over the longer term to just buy and hold? And I came up with a number and I divided it in 6 parts. And I took that first sixth amount of money and I bought at 19. And I'm going to basically put a buy level of that amount, 1/6 every 3,000 down. And so I'm looking at even potentially having some still buyable money even below 12,000, because I recognize from my history of trading that it can easily go below my lowest point. So I'm at a dollar cost average now, starting from 19, 16, 13, 10, and so forth, all the way down.
It is not uncommon for the crypto bear market to be between 85% and 90%. Over the last decade, Bitcoin has lost more than 80% of its value in 2 persistent cryptocurrency recessions. The coin bounced in some. During the 2017-2018 crypto bear market, Bitcoin plunged 83% from 19,423 to 3,217. However, in November 2021, the value of the coin was 68,000. During the same period, Ethereum fell from 1,448 to 85, down about 95%. In November 2021, the value of the coin was 4,850. In the bear market from 2013 to 2015, Bitcoin also fell by about 82%, from 1,127 to 200.
Yeah, so I think honestly, it's all about the Federal Reserve. It's always been about the Federal Reserve. And again, we saw lots of negativity and negative news over the last 5 years. I mean, heck, COVID, look at what happened with COVID and the destruction. And then the Fed came out and printed more money than they'd ever printed ever before, almost combined. And the market's just ripped up to new all-time highs. So I think, honestly, when it comes to like Bitcoin, Russia doesn't really matter, Ukraine. I mean, all these things are secondary versus what the Federal Reserve is doing until we see Bitcoin kind of mature into more of a gold type asset. And again, it is going to do that. But remember, and I always say this now, is that Bitcoin is a 13-year-old, right? Started in 2009. Here we are in 2022. That's 13.
The crypto market is still hurting from the $60 billion collapse of 2 other large coins, Terra Luna and Celsius, last month of May. These losses have raised concerns about digital currency's overall stability. Moreover, Bitcoin's price fell below 20,000 over the weekend, the lowest since December 2020, after the Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 0.75% and its value fell for a week. Bitcoin has surged back beyond 20,000 by Monday, June 20, gaining almost 6% in 24 hours.
When we broke 20,000 at 19, I announced that I started my beginning hodl position. And so ever since we were at 65,000, even though I was bearish, I was always saying, hey, listen, long term, I think there's a huge place in the economy, in the world for Bitcoin. And I think we'll get there. We'll get to 100,000, 500, maybe $1 million. It's just you have to flush out all the weak nonsense. I think last time we talked about that Darwinian concept of only the strongest will survive. And you just have so much crap in the system, frankly, right? So the idea here is that in the near term, a bounce back to 25 or 30, the reason 25 is a key level is that is your low from the Terra Luna collapse. So that is going to be resistance. And then if you go up, there was a ton of consolidation for about a month that occurred just around 30,000, and that is going to be major resistance. So it's hard for me to imagine with the NASDAQ, even though I expect bounces there, I still think the NASDAQ's headed a lot lower, at least to the COVID highs, that the Bitcoin market would bottom just yet fully. So I still think we need to wash out more of the weak-handed Bitcoin, the cryptos, and that will finally give us later this year a big point bottom.
According to Gareth Soloway, the upside price target for Bitcoin to bounce to 25,000 to 30,000 in the space of 3 to 6 weeks.
A lot more people are going to start to say, hey, we have a major low in Bitcoin, and you're going to see the bulls come back with a vengeance, trying to say, okay, now we're going to start heading back up to all-time highs. I think that'll propel it over the next probably 3 to 6 weeks.
If you've been following the cryptocurrency market, you've probably observed that as Bitcoin's price falls, altcoins follow. The contrary is also true. As the price of Bitcoin rises, we expect altcoins to follow suit. What makes Bitcoin so essential that a whole industry is obsessed with it? Let's listen to what Gareth Soloway has to say about that. Taking the long-term rise into consideration, would the upside price target really take to 25,000 or more in the coming weeks? Comment down below your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe. This is The Daily Crypto. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.